Welcome to the Daily Plunge. We are in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 9, verses 9 through 17. Now, Jesus has just come off his quarrel with the rabbis over whether he had the authority to forgive sins, to help out with sinners. And as he is wandering around his home base of Capernaum, he goes from the man on the mat to now Matthew, the tax collector. And he sees him sitting at the tax booth. And you have to wonder, what does Jesus see? What's in Jesus's heart that sees that? We don't know, but I think that's a place of prayer to ask that God would give us the same vision of how Jesus saw Matthew, that we would see others. And he sees him, and he says, "Follow me." I mean, he says to this man who is a social leper, somebody outside the covenant, right? An unrighteous man. And he says, "Why don't you become one of my disciples?" And I want you to think about how, Jesus sees you, and he sees who you are as a sinner, and he calls to you to follow him. How do you respond? Do you follow Jesus? Now, Matthew follows Jesus so much that he invites all his friends over to his house, and he throws a party for Jesus. And you have to understand that table fellowship, just like you don't invite over strangers really to eat at your house, the rules of social engagement were even more strict in the time of Jesus. There was even a greater responsibility for hospitality. And so when the religious experts, the experts in righteousness, the Pharisees, see this, Jesus with all these tax collectors, with all these sinners, they ask, "Why is your rabbi, who's supposed to be a teacher of the law, eating with tax collectors and sinners?" And Jesus responds, and he really launches the theology of the great physician, that those who are not sick don't need a doctor. The healthy, those who have all their act together, those who are so righteous don't need a doctor. But those who are sick with sin, right, do. I mean, if you think you have all your act together, you don't need the sacraments of baptism and communion. If you are so righteous, you don't need to hear the word of God. You don't need the gospel. You don't need the fellowship of the other redeemed saints, right? But the church is a hospital for sinners. It is a hospital for people who are condemned by the law, that they will receive the grace of God. And Jesus says, "For I have come to call the sinners, not the righteous." An emphasis on call. He doesn't wait for us to make a decision. He's not waiting around. This is Jesus' mission, to call, to speak the word into people's lives and to bring them to himself. And it's really about inviting people into a whole new lifestyle of being recovering sinners who are guided by grace. Well, thanks so much, my friends. Have a blessed day.